In the heart of Seoul, Dr. Ji-Su conducts unconventional experiments on animals in a desperate attempt to cure his ailing daughter, kept alive by his machines. Chaos ensues in his lab as mutated creatures roam freely. To conceal his actions, Ji-Su eliminates his assistant and tests a new serum on him. Authorities storm in, accusing Ji-Su of causing numerous deaths through his experiments. In a final attempt to prove his discovery, Ji-Su injects himself but is swiftly shot down. As an earthquake devastates the city, Ji-Su remains in the crumbling lab to protect his daughter, while authorities flee for their lives. The quake transforms the area into a desolate wasteland, forcing survivors into small villages, struggling to find scarce resources like water. Venturing outside is perilous due to desperate individuals willing to kill for food. 3 years later, Ji-won, armed with a bow, hunts cautiously in this harsh post-apocalyptic landscape, encountering a growling crocodile, which he skillfully dispatches with a flaming arrow. The crocodile writhes in pain momentarily before unexpectedly regaining consciousness, prompting Ji-won to hastily seek refuge inside a car. However, the persistent crocodile thrusts its head through the window in an attempt to bite him. Just in time, Nam-san intervenes, using a machete to swiftly decapitate the creature. Returning to their village, the men divide the crocodile into smaller meat portions, which they trade for various supplies. Ji-won, attempting to flirt with Su-na, finds himself unsuccessful. The tranquility is shattered as a violent gang arrives in a battered car, causing chaos by crashing into a tent. Claiming to search for a criminal based on a poorly drawn picture, they resort to capturing random villagers who vaguely resemble the sketch. Tensions rise as a man tries to defend himself, resulting in a brutal confrontation where one of the gang members injures him. The situation intensifies when the gangster harasses Su-na, physically assaulting her and pushing her grandmother Yun-su to the ground. Ji-won swiftly intervenes to defend the villagers, successfully toppling the first assailant. However, he soon finds himself surrounded by the remaining gang members, enduring a collective beating. Nam-san, no longer willing to stand idly by, steps in and skillfully incapacitates the criminals with a few well-executed moves. Despite a short individual attempting to harm Nam-san's leg and another wielding a pipe, Nam-san effortlessly overpowers them. He interrogates one of the gangsters, learning they work for a man named Tiger. Recognizing the name, Nam-san inquires about their access to clean water, discovering they obtain it from the only standing apartment building, home to a self-sufficient survivor community. Upon hearing Nam-san's name, the gangsters flee. Later, well-dressed recruiters arrive at the village from the apartment building, seeking families with teenagers to protect, emphasizing the importance of safeguarding the future. For the well-being of her grandmother, Su-na agrees to leave with them. As night descends, Su-na and Yun-su embark on a journey towards the apartment building with the recruiters. Spotting movement in the darkness, they quickly hide, but a lantern signal reveals the presence of other recruiters. The groups merge, and Su-na forms a connection with a girl named Ju-yi from a different village. Eventually, Yun-su and another elderly man in the group succumb to fatigue, prompting a recruiter to announce a nearby medical station. They decide to leave the elderly there temporarily, with the recruiters promising to bring them to the apartment building later. Upon reaching the location, Su-na is puzzled by the sudden appearance of cars, questioning why they weren't used earlier for the tired individuals. Sergeant Kwon dismisses her concerns, and Su-na notices a peculiar wart behind his ear. As Yun-su and the elderly man are taken to a chasm formed by the earthquake, a sinister act unfolds. The old man is pushed off the edge, and Yun-su is stabbed. Witnessing the event, Nam-san and Ji-won, who were out hunting, are shocked. Upon being discovered by the recruiters, gunfire erupts. Nam-san swiftly eliminates them, only to be astounded when they rise again, unaffected. Ji-won, using his agility, lures an adversary into smashing his head on cement, yet the resilient foe remains alive. It becomes apparent that these men share a peculiar wart behind their ears. Executing his plan, Ji-won persists in the fight and lures his opponent into an animal trap. Despite the captive using a knife to free himself, he resumes the attack on Ji-won. In a crucial moment, Eun-ho intervenes, delivering the final blow by decapitating the adversary. Simultaneously, Nam-san battles the remaining opponent, impaling him on a metal rod. However, the resilient man escapes and attempts a surprise attack from behind. Eun-ho, throwing a knife to impede him, allows Nam-san to use the same weapon for a decisive decapitation. Following the confrontation, Ji-won and Nam-san give Yun-soo a dignified burial. Eun-ho reveals her mission to reach the apartment building, aiming to protect its residents and her colleagues. Formerly part of the Air Force, her team discovered the standing building after the earthquake. Collaborating with the survivors, they cleaned and rebuilt the community. Unfortunately, Ji-soo, initially offering his services as a doctor, revealed his true intentions after a few days. Concerns arose among parents as their children didn't return after Ji-soo took them. Eun-ho confronted Ji-soo about this issue, only to discover that Kwon and her team were secretly collaborating with the doctor. Kwon demonstrated their allegiance by shooting a friend who inexplicably rose again. Ji-soo claimed his experiments were humanity's sole hope, infuriating Eun-ho. In her rage, she attempted to attack Ji-soo but was restrained by her teammates. A brawl ensued, and despite Eun-ho knocking down a few teammates, her attempt to shoot Ji-soo was thwarted by Kwon, forcing her to escape through a window. Upon learning the story, Ji-won and Nam-san agree to aid Eun-ho, driven by their desire to rescue Suna. However, they recognize the need for a well-thought-out plan to bypass security. Nearby, in the ruins of a building, two gangs force civilians to fight to the death for amusement and gambling, threatening harm to their loved ones if they resist. After a deadly match, gang leader Tiger suggests betting something else, triggering a dispute that erupts into a brutal fight between the gangs. Amidst the carnage, Tiger remains untouched, accumulating the most blood on his hands. Gangsters plummet one by one to their demise until only a few remain. Nam-san joins the scene with the others, seeking Tiger. It's revealed that Nam-san and Tiger were former boxing rivals, with Nam-san causing such severe injury that Tiger had to quit, fueling Tiger's desire for revenge. Both gangs unite against the trio, but thanks to Nam-san's and Eun-ho's training, they effortlessly overpower the street fighters. Ji-won also demonstrates effective self-defense, reaching the cage to release the captured civilians. As Nam-san swiftly defeats Tiger in a few moves, the remaining gangsters attempt to flee. The team captures some for interrogation. Nam-san, questioning them while delivering punches, discovers that Tiger facilitates deals with the building residents. Tiger brings them children, receiving clean water in return, but he can only pass the barrier on designated delivery days. Nam-san realizes he needs to plan accordingly. Meanwhile, Suna's group arrives at the apartment building, astonished by its impressive organization. Guardians are stationed throughout, solar panels provide electricity, and a small garden yields vegetables in the well-organized community. Ji-soo, the leader, extends a warm welcome, offering bottles of clean water upon introduction. Suna, mindful of her grandmother, refrains from drinking hers. Assigned to an apartment, Suna is astonished to find abundant supplies, clean clothes, and even running water. Inquiring about her grandmother, she learns that a ride is en route to pick her up. Ji-soo later announces the top-performing teenagers, whose families are assigned to the 8th-floor apartments, exempted from work, and receive free meal passes. However, in private conversations with teachers, the truth emerges: only the teenagers ascend to the 8th floor while their families are consigned to the basement. There, they toil long hours purifying water and bottling it, forbidden from reuniting with their children. In Ji-soo's lab, Kwon consumes an entire mouse as the teacher informs Ji-soo that Suna and Eun-ho are suitable for experiments. Ji-soo instructs her to provide them with water. The teacher introduces the girls to the class, revealing a shocking detail: all the other teens appear in a perpetual dazed state, marked by a scar behind their ears. Suna's suspicions heighten as the teacher delves into lessons about the frailty of the human body, emphasizing the necessity for evolution to survive without water. Gradually, the class transforms into propaganda, promoting Ji-Soo as the sole savior and instilling a sense of duty to assist him. During lunch, everyone receives a water bottle, and the teacher insists on its importance, but Suna decides not to drink it. Ji-Soo appears for a speech and selects Ju-yi as his next helper. Inquiring about her grandmother, Suna is informed of her arrival in poor health, confined to the medical bay for a few days. Despite Ji-Soo's reminder to drink water, Suna merely pretends to comply. Ji-Soo tests his latest serum on Kwon, who expresses concern for the two missing agents. Ji-Soo dismisses the idea of everyone carrying a serum injection for safety, providing a vague excuse. After Kwon departs, it's revealed Ji-Soo is still working on healing his daughter. In the evening, as others sleep, Suna discreetly moves around the building. When she hears approaching people, she manages to leap over the balcony just in time. In the basement, soldiers attempt to send day workers out for the night shift, leading to protests from Ju-yi's parents, who are barred from seeing their daughter. To avert a potential riot, Ji-Soo intervenes and takes Ju-yi's parents to his lab, assuring them they will see their child. Meanwhile, Suna infiltrates Ji-Soo's lab and examines his notes, revealing experiments with reptiles due to their regenerative abilities. Initial tests on younger individuals resulted in fatalities. Opening a door, Suna discovers Ju-yi connected to a machine through a cut behind her ear. Ji-Soo arrives, prompting Suna to hide. Seeing Ju-yi, her parents panic. Ji-Soo justifies his actions, asserting it's for her well-being. To demonstrate his love for children, he reveals the preservation of his own daughter's upper body in a glass box, her heart still beating. The parents, horrified, attempt to disconnect Ju-yi, leading to a seizure. Ji-Soo, rushing to help, is unsuccessful, and Ju-yi tragically dies. In a fit of rage, Ji-Soo viciously stabs the father, and when the mother tries to flee, Kwon shoots her. In that critical moment, Ji-Soo locates Suna and designates her as his next test subject. While connecting her to the machine, he explains that he utilizes teenagers because their pituitary glands contain a crucial component. This component, extracted through the water they consume daily, is transformed into a serum. As he activates the machine, Suna screams in agony. Simultaneously, Nam-san and the others arrive in Tiger's truck, feigning a delivery. When the guard questions the non-delivery day, Tiger struggles to provide an excuse. Suspicion grows, prompting soldiers to inspect the truck. Capitalizing on the moment, Nam-san incapacitates a guard, accelerates through gunfire, crashes through the front gate, and topples the watchtower before ramming the truck into the lobby. Tiger hides as Nam-san, Ji-won, and Eun-ho unleash gunfire with weapons seized from the gang. As a few soldiers approach, Eun-ho subdues them, clearing the way for the trio to ascend the stairs. After unlocking a door, they enter an abandoned room, where Eun-ho is shocked to find her teammates in a cell. Upon freeing them, they discover the soldiers have transformed into reptile-like zombies, attacking immediately. Swiftly, Nam-san rescues Eun-ho, and the trio opens fire, obliterating several heads. Overwhelmed by the sheer number of soldiers, the trio faces a close-quarters confrontation. Nam-san and Ji-won strive to defend themselves, but Eun-ho, initially in shock, finds it challenging to harm her transformed friends. Ji-won's urgent yell breaks her out of the trance, prompting Eun-ho to engage, swiftly decapitating zombies with determination. As a cohesive team, they successfully eliminate all the soldiers, leaving no enemy standing. In response, Ji-Soo offers to spare their lives if they leave immediately via the announcement system. Using the intercom in the cell area, Nam-san rejects the offer, destroying the device and causing discomfort to Ji-Soo's ear with the resulting screech. While Ji-Soo returns to Suna to extract the serum, the trio proceeds upstairs, detonating a door to eliminate soldiers on the other side. With backup approaching, Nam-san instructs the others to find Suna as he handles the situation. Shooting an extinguisher to create a smoke screen, Nam-san efficiently dispatches incoming guards, switching to his machete when out of bullets. In the corridor, he skillfully faces the soldiers, slashing through them with his machete and using their own guns against them. Facing another group of soldiers, Nam-san swiftly employs the weapons of the fallen enemies to dispatch them within seconds. Subsequently, he heads to the basement, urging the workers to leave and search for their children. Simultaneously, Bunho and Ji-won continue battling soldiers as they ascend the building. Overwhelmed by their numbers, Bunho stays behind to provide cover while Ji-won proceeds upward. Skillfully combining shooting and fighting, Bunho takes down the soldiers, leaving only Kwon. Engaging Kwon in hand-to-hand combat, Bunho faces challenges as he proves to be a superior fighter with enhanced serum-infused abilities. Despite a fierce struggle, Bunho manages to stab him in the foot and eye. However, Kwon reveals lizard scales beneath his skin, protecting him. Bunho attempts another attack, but Kwon easily overpowers her, stabbing her and throwing her off the balcony. Meanwhile, Ji-won meticulously searches every room on the upper floors, eventually locating the classroom where he swiftly eliminates the guard. Taking the teacher hostage, Ji-won instructs the students to flee, but they remain unresponsive. Encountering Kwon on their way out, Ji-won and the teacher are saved by Nam-san, who confronts the sergeant while the others escape. In the lab, Ji-soo injects the new serum into his body, immediately feeling ill due to Suna's failure to drink the water. Warts manifest on Ji-soo's body as he experiences nausea, but before he can retaliate against Suna, Ji-won arrives with the teacher. To divert Ji-won's attention, Ji-soo threatens Suna, and a soldier attacks Ji-won from behind, incapacitating him. Ji-soo instructs the teacher and the soldier to place his daughter in a briefcase while he retrieves tubes containing the serum. Meanwhile, downstairs, Nam-san engages in a fierce battle with Kwon. Their strength is remarkable as they hurl each other against various surfaces. Seizing an opportunity, Nam-san utilizes Kwon's speed and weight to propel him through a window. However, Kwon clings to Nam-san, forcing Nam-san to impale his neck on broken glass and decapitate him. Reuniting with their children outside, working parents find solace. Nam-san reaches the lab, using the soldier's gun to shoot her and the teacher. Ignoring the teacher's pleas for help, Ji-soo escapes through the back door, dropping a grenade into the lab. Ji-won overturns the stretcher with Suna on it, shielding them from the explosion. The loud noise awakens Eun-ho, who is still alive. With the lab now ablaze, Nam-san navigates through the flames using a door to assist the teenagers. Outside, witnessing Ji-soo attempting to flee, residents retaliate, beating him for the harm he inflicted on the children. They obliterate all the serum tubes, but retreat when they witness the doctor's face undergoing a transformation. Enraged, Ji-soo seizes a weapon and unleashes a frantic barrage of gunfire, inadvertently killing several residents and damaging his own suitcase. Medicine spills out, prompting Ji-soo to desperately open it, but it's too late, his daughter is now permanently deceased. Subsequently, he vomits as his deteriorating condition intensifies. When the heroes arrive, Ji-soo resumes firing, prompting Nam-san to shoot him multiple times, ultimately ending his life. As if in celebration of their triumph, the sky darkens, and rain begins to fall. Eun-ho declares her intention to stay and aid in the rebuilding efforts, while Nam-san and the teenagers embark on their journey home. Along the way, they bring Suna to her grandmother's grave, where she collapses in tears. Thanks for tuning in to our latest video. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your support means the world to us. Stay tuned for more exciting content. Until next time, happy watching.